The hidden impact of childhood trauma on relationships. Most people believe childhood is something they leave behind. The years pass, life moves forward, and eventually those early experiences become little more than distant memories. A person builds a career, forms friendships, falls in love, starts a family, and assumes the past no longer has any influence over the present. But then something strange begins to happen. The same relationship problems keep appearing. The same fears continue showing up. The same emotional pain resurfaces in situations where it seemingly does not belong. Different partners, different circumstances, different stages of life, yet somehow the emotional outcome feels familiar. This leaves many people wondering what they are doing wrong. Why does trust feel so difficult? Why do small disagreements become overwhelming? Why does love sometimes feel unsafe even when there is no obvious reason for fear? What many people fail to realize is that unresolved childhood trauma often operates beneath conscious awareness. It does not always appear as a memory. Instead, it appears as patterns, reactions, fears, and behaviors that quietly shape relationships from the background. Understanding those hidden influences can completely change the way we see ourselves and the people we love. Your nervous system never forgot. One of the most important discoveries in trauma research is that childhood experiences do not simply disappear because time has passed. While memories may fade, the nervous system often continues carrying the emotional lessons learned during those early years. When a child grows up in an environment filled with unpredictability, criticism, emotional neglect, or chronic stress, the brain adapts in order to survive. It becomes highly sensitive to potential threats. It learns to stay alert. It develops strategies designed to reduce emotional pain and increase the chances of safety. These adaptations can be incredibly useful during childhood, but they often become problematic in adulthood. Trauma researcher Dr. Bessel van der Kolk famously stated that the body keeps the score, highlighting the idea that traumatic experiences are stored not only as memories, but also as physiological responses. Long after the original circumstances have ended, the nervous system may continue reacting as though danger is still present. This is why a harmless situation in adulthood can trigger emotions that feel surprisingly intense. The body remembers lessons that the conscious mind may no longer fully recognize. The freeze response nobody talks about. Most people are familiar with the concepts of fight or flight. When faced with danger, the body either confronts the threat or escapes from it. However, trauma researchers have identified another powerful survival response that receives far less attention: the freeze response. This occurs when the nervous system becomes overwhelmed and essentially shuts down. In relationships, the freeze response can be deeply misunderstood. During moments of conflict, some individuals suddenly become silent, disconnected, or emotionally unavailable. They struggle to find words. Their mind goes blank. Their thoughts become foggy. To their partner, it may appear as though they do not care about the conversation. In reality, their nervous system is attempting to protect them from perceived danger. This response often develops in childhood environments where fighting back was impossible and escape was not an option. Freezing became the safest strategy available. Emotional dysregulation and the missing skill of emotional regulation is not something people automatically know how to do. It is a skill that develops through experience, observation, and guidance. Children learn how to manage emotions by interacting with caregivers who model healthy emotional behavior. When a child feels overwhelmed and a caregiver responds with patience, support, and understanding, The child gradually learns how to calm themselves. But what happens when those caregivers are emotionally unpredictable, reactive, or overwhelmed by their own struggles? The child never receives a consistent blueprint for managing emotions. As a result, strong feelings can become difficult to control later in life. Small frustrations trigger disproportionate reactions. The wound beneath the argument. One of the most fascinating aspects of relationship conflict is that the argument is rarely about the argument. On the surface, disagreements often appear simple. One partner forgot to call. Someone arrived late. A text message went unanswered. Yet the emotional intensity surrounding these situations frequently reveals something much deeper. For individuals carrying unresolved childhood wounds, present-day conflicts often activate older fears that have existed for years. Being ignored for a few hours may unconsciously connect to memories of feeling invisible. A forgotten promise may trigger feelings of abandonment. A critical comment may awaken old beliefs about not being good enough. The current event acts as a spark, but the emotional fuel comes from much earlier experiences. This is why some conflicts feel impossible to explain logically. How trauma shapes the way you give love. When discussing childhood trauma, most conversations focus on how it affects a person's ability to receive love. However, trauma also influences how people give love. The lessons learned during childhood often become relationship templates that are carried into adulthood. Someone who grew up around emotional distance may struggle to express affection openly. Someone raised in an environment where vulnerability was discouraged may have difficulty communicating emotions. Others may become excessively focused on pleasing people because they learned early in life that love was tied to performance rather than acceptance. These patterns are rarely intentional. They simply reflect the emotional models that were available during development. Without realizing it, people often recreate the relationship dynamics they witnessed growing up. This is one reason trauma can pass from one generation to the next. Not through deliberate actions, but through learned behaviors that continue repeating until they are consciously recognized and changed. Breaking the cycle. Perhaps the most hopeful aspect of trauma research is the growing evidence that healing is possible. For many years, people believed childhood experiences permanently determine the course of a person's life. Modern neuroscience tells a different story. The brain remains capable of adaptation throughout adulthood. New experiences can create new pathways. Healthy relationships can teach new expectations. Emotional awareness can interrupt old patterns. One of the strongest predictors of healing is the presence of safe and supportive relationships. Whether through therapy, friendships, community, or a healthy romantic partnership, positive relational experiences help teach the nervous system that the present is different from the past. Healing does not happen because people forget what happened to them. It happens because they gradually learn that old survival strategies are no longer necessary. Every time someone communicates honestly instead of withdrawing, trusts instead of assuming betrayal, or remains present during discomfort rather than shutting down, they begin creating a different future than the one their trauma predicted. If this video resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Which hidden impact stood out the most? Have you noticed any of these patterns in your own relationships? And if you enjoy psychology, human behavior, and deep explorations into the forces that shape our lives, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.